So a few years ago, my good friend Karen, not my girlfriend Karen, I have a girlfriend named Karen, but my good friend Karen got me something for the YouTube wall that Matthias proceeded to hide after about 6 months of it being up. Took me a few years of looking all over the place, and I found it this summer. And then I lost it again. Yesterday, while I was cleaning, we found it again. It's getting put right where it belongs. And if it moves again, it's a ghost. Because Matthias is saying here, thank you again, Karen. Again. Again. You ready? Here we go. It did it. I don't believe it.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Alright, so got the Devils tonight. Bubba is in net. Lundell is back. Still no Gudis, no Barkov. Who else is hurt? Oh, yeah, that's right. Patrick Hornquist. George Richards had an article out today that it looks like Hornquist is going to be out for quite some time, which is code for he ain't coming back until and unless we make the playoffs, which is fine. I've been liking how that fourth line has been looking with Eric Stahl and Lomberg and Cousins. So we're good. We're good. I think the Duclair salary cap issue, unfortunately, the way it happened, but I do believe that that has probably been solved. Now, tonight, in terms of tonight, this is not a mandatory 2 points in regulation, but it is a mandatory 2 points. We begin this game 4 points out of a playoff spot, and there's like a half dozen teams, 4, 5 teams, 6 teams, all within the 8th seed. There's no more room for error. You need 2 tonight. You need 2 Friday in regulation against the Islanders, and then you can hit the Christmas break at least saying we're in the playoff hunt, in the discussion. Has to happen, okay? You lose tonight, you lose Friday. We could hit Christmas 8 points out, and that's it. You're not coming back from 8 points. All right? Settle this thing down. Bubba's going to be in net. All right? That's what we need. Just play a nice, clean game. Stay the hell out of the box. Don't worry about drawing penalties because, I ain't worried about our power play. Just play hard, smart, 5-on-5. Give me 2 points. All right, 1-1 after 1. Decent period of play. Very, very spirited. Very festive. Everybody seems to be exchanging Christmas present requests. They're hugging. There's a lot of love between these two teams. I can definitely see. I guess basically we wouldn't play the Devils in a playoff series unless it was the Eastern Conference Championship. So it's not the most likely thing in the world. But right now, Lundell got into a fight, kinda, sorta. You could tell he really didn't want to fight, but he ended up kind of fighting, which mainly consisted of him like ducking his head down and then getting thrown to the ice, and then called for a 5-minute major. So that's beautiful. We looked decent. The Eric Stahl with another goal. Lomberg made a hell of a play. They were all putzing around, fighting for the puck in front of the net. And instead of shooting it again, Lomberg actually shoved it out to Stahl, who had gotten the position open. He gets it past the goalie. It's 1-0. And then when Lundell fought, they also got him for a high stick. And they end up on the power play. And boom, puck's in the back of the net before we even knew it was on a power play, because TNT was so busy talking about something else. They didn't have a graphic up that they were on the power play. They didn't say anything on the broadcast. And the stream had to tell me that it was a power play goal. So, good job, TNT. Let's move on to the second period. All right, so 2-1 Panthers after 2. Looking good. Bubba. Now, I can't praise the goaltender too much during the game. I'm just going to say one more time, Bubba. All right. The other thing, look, we got a power play goal. Finally, we get a call, okay? After like half dozen times when the refs could have called a ticky-tacky penalty against the Devils, and they didn't, they then get Ekblad for like a grazing of a slash, the most ticky-tacky slash you'll ever see get called. We kill it off, and then finally, we get a power play. And as soon as Maurice got Ekblad off the ice during the power play, we scored. In the middle of the power play, Ekblad tried to carry the puck in by himself and split two defensemen, and instead he lost the puck and got knocked down. And then he got the hell off the ice, and then Luosterainen put one in the back of the net after Sam Bennett properly brought the puck into the zone. So that was good to see. Playing a decent game. Everybody looks pretty good. Look, there's no way around this. And I know we were all like wondering what the hell's with the stalls. But especially now with Patrick Hornquist out and probably not coming back, I mean, Eric Stahl is good. He's one of our better players in terms of playing the style in front of the net and boxing guys out and going into the corners and winning battles. He's good. He's good. And the other thing tonight is Luosterainen must have watched the last video, because in the last video I said that he was winning 0 puck battles, as in 0, and tonight he's winning them all. Coincidence or not, I don't know. But Jaws is still the best movie of all time. That I do know. So do me a favor. Since I know a lot of people will be here, and I appreciate that a lot of people will be here for the rant. Do me a favor, when you're done with this, or maybe before this, watch the video I put out yesterday. It's about 1.5 minutes long. It's a gem. It's a lot of fun. NHL fans at Christmas, Florida Panther fan reaction, whatever I named it, do me a favor. If you're a fan of this channel and you didn't see that video, missing out. That's the fun stuff, because this right now for me is not the fun stuff. All right. How do I do this? And when I say how do I do this, I've been... There's half the people that want me to lose my shit and rant, and there's the other half of people that aren't necessarily wrong. Say, well, it's not like they played terrible. We almost got the goal at the end to tie it. I'm just going to get this part out of the way. I'm not a fan of pulling the goalie every time. I'm not a fan of it. We've been terrible with the empty net. We've almost gotten a lot of goals, and then it's always going back and ending up in our empty net. If you're going to pull the goalie, put the fast guys on the ice. If you're going to pull the goalie and put Ekblad and Stahl out there, who I love Stahl and how he's been playing, I'm just saying, put the fastest guys you got on the ice. But that's trifle. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Ticky-tack. It's not the problem here. We're not losing games because the goalie was pulled. It's just frustrating because we suck when we pull the goalie. It just is. We go into the third period with a lead. Bob gives up a goal that he shouldn't have given up. And then Colin White is boxing out his man, kind of has his man. Stu says he's not happy with Colin White's play on that goal. I'm like, I don't know what you want White to do. First off, he's not a defenseman. He's a forward. The defenseman's job in this system is to play defense as well. It's a mad deflection. It was a good deflection. I'm not going to sit here and blame Colin White. If Tkachuk does that, we're sitting here all talking about how fantastic and awesome and amazing Tkachuk is. If Reinhardt does that, we're like, oh, amazing hand-eye coordination. We ain't thinking or saying one thing about the defenseman or the forward that would have been on Tkachuk or Reinhardt. So I'm not going to sit here and blame Colin White for that goal. It was just a good hockey goal. Tonight was one of those nights where we didn't play bad. There's a couple people on the stream said it was how we played bad. Exactly. We didn't play bad. And we still lost by 2. At home. After we had a lead in the first 2 periods. So yeah, we didn't play bad. We still lost. And Detroit won. And now we're at least 6 points out. And the coffin is there. And I have the nail in my hand. And if we lose to the Islanders on Friday, you pick up the hammer. You go into the Christmas break 6 to 8 points back. And only if you've devoted your entire YouTube channel to the Florida Panthers, at that point do you still think the team has a chance of coming back and making the playoffs. At that point, my job is the rest of the year to try to sell to everybody that it's still interesting and fun and we have a chance. Which is why I added football. It'd be nice if my football team would win a game. So, look, here's the thing. I know we don't have Barkov, but that was really the only guy not on the ice tonight. I know Hornquist isn't coming back. And Eric Stahl is more than capably filling in for Hornquist. Do we win this game with Barkov? I don't know. I mean, the 2 goals that we gave up in the 3rd period, I don't think Barkov makes any difference. Those are the goals going in the back of the net. Maybe Barkov scores the big goal to tie it. Maybe he doesn't. Kachuk had some chances. I mean, we had chances. But this is becoming more than, like people said at the end of the stream, it's not like we played poorly. Somebody said, it's not like we played poorly, and then somebody said, well, you gave up 2 goals in the 3rd period, you played poorly. Sometimes it's just not your year. I mean, I can't figure out if we're a good team with just ridiculously bad luck in terms of injuries and sickness and the puck just won't go in the net, or if we're just not a good team and that's what it looks like when you're not a good team. But the truth of it is that I based on, depending on what happens tonight, we could be way closer to last place than the playoffs. And at what point do we say, you know, now I will say this. I will say a couple of things here, okay? If Denisenko gets sent down, I'm going to drive down there myself and pick him up at Charlotte and drop him back off at the rink. And then I'm going to go to Maurice and make sure he knows that it was me who did it. Denisenko needs to stay up because, for crying out loud, can we develop somebody? He looks like he's worthy of getting the time on ice in the games. There should be no reason that he doesn't stick with this team. Looking forward, I mean, the last video was looking forward to next year. I can't believe we lost this game. I can't believe we're sitting here 34 games in. Oh, God, we just got good. We just got good. You know how many years of this kind of recap, trying to explain away and rationalize and when we're bad, you're never gonna have 50% or more of the people agree with you about why you're bad. If I say it's this, somebody will say it's that. If I say it's that, they'll say, well, what about this? We were good, and last year was fun, and there was nothing to complain about, and we didn't have to worry about the points, and we had just gotten to the point where we expected to be good. And damn it. And you know, the more I think about this, something don't, you know, I've been touching on this in the last couple of videos. Now, we know what happened with Gallant was a personality, there was personality issues there. And he got skedoodled even after the team was good. And then they changed all the analytical crap. We all know what happened in that summer. Right? Okay? But that was ego. Ego from the top, not getting along, boom. Okay. Alright, fine. Now, what happened with Q, happened. Okay? Then you get Bruno in there. And I know what my opinion was, what your opinion was. We all had these different opinions, which is fine. We're the fans. We don't have control. I don't know what the hell. I'm starting to not buy it. What I'm trying to say is, Zito was saying we're hiring this veteran coach because we're going to have these challenges because of the cap. Okay. Follow me here. We're hiring the veteran coach because we're going to have challenges because we're in cap hell. We know it's going to be tough. We don't, all right? Reading in between the lines, you could see what he's saying is we don't really expect to be like President's Trophy. We may or may not make the playoffs. We want a veteran coach to guide us through. Now, I call bullshit on that because Bruno had just guided us through losing Q, which is going to be way harder than this crap that we're going through this year. Secondly, if he knew we were going to be in cap hell and knew we weren't really going to be that good, okay? If he knew we were going to have all these challenges and really not be that good and really we're not, you know, at any point now they're going to come out and say, well, we didn't expect this to be a cup season or some crap like that, then why keep us in cap hell by keeping Patrick Hornqvist on the roster? Why? Why keep the dude that's keeping us in cap hell if you're going to hire a coach specifically to guide you through the challenge? Why do it? If you know you're not going to be good, why not jettison Patrick Hornqvist at some point during the offseason, summer, get what you can for him, and then plug in some younger guys. You know how many younger guys we could be developing right now had we not started off that way? Heponiemi, Danisenko, maybe Hutsko, I don't know. I mean, you guys could tell me, right? But if you knew you weren't going to be good, why keep him? And this is not me ragging on Hornqvist. The point that I'm getting to is I think all of it is bullshit covered where Viola lost his fucking shit again, pulled the trigger, pissed off, thought we needed to win, fired Bruno, and wanted changes. The more that I look at this, and the more that I see what this one is saying, and this one is saying, and that one, it don't make sense. It's really starting to not make sense to me unless Viola did exactly what he did the last time we lost in the playoffs, which is trigger finger, fire, change, and remake everything. And I think Zito is trying to make that work as best as he possibly can. I think that's the opinion I'm starting to get to, because that's what makes sense. It don't make sense for Zito to have fired Bruno for the reasons he did, hired Maurice for the reasons he's saying, no, we're going to be in cap hell, no, we're not going to be that good, keep Hornqvist. The only reason to keep Hornqvist is because you think you're going to be a cup-worthy team for the leadership. It don't make any sense. It really doesn't. The longer this goes on and the more that they give the little tidbits of, well, we knew it was going to be tough, well, nothing. I think Zito's, I'm not saying he's covering for Viola, but obviously Viola's behind the scenes. He's not somebody who's out in the public saying, hey, I want these changes, blah, 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 right? He's not, a Jerry Jones type. But I think this is, I think that's what happened. Which is worse, really, because, I mean, I guess it's worse and it's better. Because maybe if light at the end of the tunnel. I'll give you some light at the end of the tunnel. If you buy my theory of that, Viola will be pissed off again during this offseason for us not making the playoffs, and maybe he'll make another change. And maybe we'll get it right this time. Not that this game is on Maurice, but this style of hockey, God, what are they thinking? The sport barely has a toehold in popularity down there. Barely. Okay, my channel is the proof of that. Okay, 1,200 videos and 6,000 subscribers. Do you know how hard it is to do that many videos and not have 30, 40,000 subscribers? Okay, and what I mean by that is, like any other team, I would have. We don't have a huge fan base. They're a rabid, strong, loyal fan base, but in terms of numbers, it ain't that big. So what do? We create this fast, fun team that everybody was going and enjoying and watching, and we're winning, and it was fun, and people were going. And now we've decided to play this. It's you're not going to sell this brand of hockey in South Florida. Just not. I mean, if we had ridiculous personnel, and that's the thing, to win with this style of hockey, your personnel has to be a specific skill set that we don't have. We got a few guys with a specific skill set that fits this style of hockey. Kachuk, Bennett, Stalls. Forsling and Montour aren't exactly built for this style, but they're still good. But, I mean, forward-wise, man, this is just, none of it's working. None of it's working. Oh, I can't believe this. Tonight's game was just a snapshot. The fact that we played well, and then we didn't play well, and we lost, and we won, it's inconsequential at this point. The fact that Barkov wasn't there, occasionally he might make a difference, right? How many times have we seen Barkov really take over a game? It happens every once in a while, right? But this is, as they say, a systemic problem. It really is a systemic problem. And I'm starting to leapfrog Zito in who I think is behind all of this. I mean, Zito's making the moves, don't get me wrong. But I don't think that the orders to change all of this and make all these decisions, I don't think that was Zito. I think it's Viola, because he's already proven that that's his style. We already saw that with Gallant, who, by the way, look at the Rangers. The Rangers have finally figured out if you don't fire Gallant after a slow start, they might actually turn it around. Panthers didn't figure that out. Vegas fired him for whatever hell reason. I mean, oh, jeez. Only went to the Cup Finals. Well, no, he didn't, but you know what I'm saying. They were good. All right. I could go on for 3 hours. I'm in absolute disbelief that this has happened to this team. We may well go from President's Trophy to last place in the division. I mean, it's possible. I mean, we're sitting here as a fan base going, maybe if we can get, 2 points back, 4 points. But now it's 4 points back, 6 points. We're looking ahead, and in the rear view mirror with games in hand, I think we're in last place. At the start of the last review with Stu, with games in hand, if we lost and the other teams won, we're in last place. I think it's more realistic you know, I mean, if something happened to like Bob or Barkov, where they were out for the year, this team would finish in last place. That's the difference those guys are making. Is keeping us out of last place. But just look at the teams ahead of us. I mean, look at New Jersey. New Jersey tonight, as soon as they turned it on and played well in the third period, they were buzzing around. We couldn't keep up. It wasn't close. Right? I mean, we had some offensive chances. We had some chances. But in terms of, I mean, shots, they caught up and it passed us at one point until we got a few shots at the end there. When they turned it on, and we've seen this with other teams, it's the opposite of last year. Remember last year when we could turn it on and come back and do whatever we wanted? When other teams are turning it on against us, we're bad. Bad. All right, that's enough. I've given myself another headache. But we'll be here. Rest of the 49 games, whatever it is that's left. Streaming every one of them as much as we can. Colin and I'll be back tomorrow night streaming the football game. Jags, Jags. Jags and Jets tomorrow. Don't miss the video I put out yesterday. Seriously, it's a minute and a half. Took me about hour and a half to do. It's funny. It's if you're a fan of this channel and you'd like to see me do something other than a rant and yell and scream, it's a good video. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Alright, that's enough. Stu and I will be back in the morning. Do me a favor. Do me one favor. For the 5 of you that are left watching, do me a favor. For one day, could you not argue with me in the comments? Just one day. The things I think are wrong are correct. The things that you think are wrong are correct. The things that the people on Twitter think are wrong are correct. There's so much wrong. It's not any one thing. So if I bitch about Ekblad, it doesn't mean I think Forsling played a great game. He had a couple bad giveaways tonight. If I bitch about the coach, it doesn't mean that I think the personnel is great. We're all correct. There's a lot of problems. And that's the one thing about social media. It's like, especially Twitter, man, because you can only say so much on however many characters they give you. And what people ignore what you say and only attack you for what you don't say. It's exhausting. Alright. Stu and I will be back in the morning. I appreciate all support. Appreciate everybody coming out for the live streams, super chats. Because super chats are paying my house payment. I ain't gonna lie. Okay? Without this channel, I gotta go work at Dunkin' Donuts. So, should be nice if my hockey team will win a game or two.